Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I'm of course joined with Ben as this is the B&B show. Today, of course that happens right when we start. Today, Ohio State, why I'm making the claim why they deserve to be a 1 seed in March Madness. We're going to talk a little bit about the Big 12, but then the primary focus of the show will be the Super Bowl. What happened? Is Tom Brady the GOAT? I think so. Is Pat Mahomes? Did he just have no help, and is that why they lost, and his receivers couldn't catch maybe? But we'll talk about that later. We're going to start with Ohio State, though. And Ben agrees with me. Ben, the Michigan fanatic, the Ohio State hater, agrees that right now Ohio State deserves to be a 1 seed. Ben, tell us why.
Well, if you look at, 1 seeds need to have great wins, and Ohio State has some of the best wins in the country. At Illinois, defeating Wisconsin, just beat Iowa on the road. That's
in the game we're watching now.
3 of the best wins in the country right there. And although they have some losses, every single team but Baylor and Gonzaga has losses. I mean, you can't take that as like part of the thing. Like Ohio State lost to Northwestern early on. They have a loss to Purdue. They have a loss to Minnesota, which is why I think if Villanova can go on a run to end the year and Ohio State doesn't win the Big Ten, Villanova will get that 4th 1 seed. If Michigan stays in the 3rd 1 seed, I don't know if that will happen. But for now, Ohio State deserves the 4th 1 seed.
I agree. I really do agree with you, Ben. I'm not going to lie. Ohio State has 4 losses, but they've proven more. And I'm going to say this. Villanova controls their own destiny, but same with Michigan and Ohio State. Baylor and Gonzaga, even if they lose a game or two, they've gotten so many big wins, especially Gonzaga, that I just can't see a way for them to fall out of those 1 and 2 spots in the March Madness seeding. Both being 1 seeds, when I mean 1 and 2 spots, is like the easier thing. There's a whole science behind it. But the 3 and 4 spot are really up for grabs. I do think one of those spots will go to the Big Ten champion, whether that be Iowa, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Michigan. One of those 4 teams, I believe, will win it.
I'm actually going to put another name in there. The 2nd place team in the Big Ten right now is Illinois, and I believe they're the 2nd.
Yes, Illinois. Sorry, I know I was missing one. I'm like, it's not Michigan State.
Like, Illinois is really good.
Illinois is really good. Yes, they are. They had a big-time win this weekend against Iowa. But I think Villanova can easily get there. Now, I think if Creighton goes undefeated, beats Nova in the regular season, they play Villanova this Saturday, which will be a big-time game. And they do win the Big East. If they win out, essentially, and win their conference tournament, I think Creighton deserves to be a 1 seed. I do.
That's a far shot, though. I mean, they have like 6 losses.
A lot will happen. Hey, and then Alabama could win out, and they're a 1 seed. So there you go. So a lot can happen. Tennessee, same with them. They're in a position to do so.
No Pac-12 team could be a 1 seed.
No. I don't even know about a 2 seed.
I doubt it, yeah.
I really do doubt it. Arizona State, who's probably my pick at the beginning of the year, is like not even going to make it. We got Oregon, who's like on the bubble, who's usually solid. Like a lot of just bad teams.
Pac-12 are the California teams: UCLA, USC, and Stanford.
Yeah, just crazy. Stanford's actually not bad. They did lose to USC though over the weekend, with 2 starters out. I will say. Did you also see, Ben, last week BC played with 4 scholarship players?
I saw that.
That was something.
I can't believe they played that game, but COVID's doing a lot of things. I don't know. Villanova almost lost to Boston College earlier this year, so.
Boston College isn't terrible, Ben. They played with 4 guys. Of course they're going to lose. They played.
I know. They're 3-11, though. I mean, the record.
Full scholarship team against Villanova. I mean, they're not great, but Villanova beat them, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Okay, we covered March Madness predictions. Let's go into the Super Bowl. Big 12 wise, I think everyone agrees that the Big 12 and the Big 10 are the 2 best conferences. I clickbaited a little bit saying is the Big 12 the best conference. Actually, no. Let's pose that question, man. Is the Big 12 better than the Big 10?
Look,
I'm going to say yes.
I will say it's hard to know right now because we haven't seen a lot of – okay, it's hard. The Big 12 teams haven't played much of the Big 10 teams. Baylor beat Illinois pretty well. That's the best we've seen from a Big 12 team against a Big 10 team. And I will say top end of the Big 12 is elite. Baylor, You can throw in Oklahoma, Texas Tech, West Virginia, and Texas.
Texas has fallen off a little bit, I will say. They've lost
Texas
like
has
4.
fallen off, but that's 5 top 50.
Texas is still a very good team, though. They're going to be a low-ranked team come March, and they're going to surprise some people.
And they're still
I'm
not
not just saying that because Villanova beat them. Texas is a solid team. They're going through a little bit of a hump right now.
And they're not like they're still a top 20 team. And Oklahoma State's a sleeper team. There's 6 or 7 like solid tournament teams in that conference. 5 like Final Four, Elite Eight type teams, and the Big Ten doesn't quite have that. But I will note, the Big Ten has 3 teams in consideration for 1 seed,
Yes.
which no other conference has that.
Who
And
would
then
you
it has-
say? Illinois, Iowa, Michigan, Ohio State. You could say 4.
Yeah, you could.
You could say 4. I'm being grateful there to the Big Ten. But yeah, I mean, hey, they're both really solid conferences. And I think come March, the Big Ten teams will be more prepared. You got more veteran guys. You got more guys that have played in the tournament in high stakes before. Pretty much other than Kansas, Baylor has never been in the tournament as a high seed. West Virginia has. It's been a few years. Texas has, but been a low seed. Texas Tech, of course, in 2018, but that was pretty much once. They were kind of an out of the blue team that year. They were ranked highly, but you get what I'm saying by that. So, yeah, I don't know. And also that Texas Tech team is pretty much completely gone. It's a fresh new team led by Mac McClung.
But they're still good. I mean,
They're still good, yeah.
you mentioned
Imagine if, what's his name? Imagine if the dude that got Ramsey, if
Damius.
he would have stayed, Texas Tech could legitimately win it all.
They're still a top 15 team, but obviously he hurt them.
And this year in college basketball is so good. I mean,
But I just wanted
so
to
much
talk real
talent.
quick because
Yeah.
Brad mentioned Kansas. What's going on with Kansas? On like a quiet,
Yeah, that's
big
Vivian Beck, Ben. No,
I
they're
mean-
they're sliding. I mean, they suck. I mean,
they're sliding into the 7 through 10 seed range in the tournament.
yeah,
From like
they could be a first 4 in or a first 4 out. I mean, it's not looking
getting
pretty
back
right now.
to Lawrence
And Lawrence, yeah, exactly.
and Kentucky. Everyone knows what's going on there. The
Not
Blue
even
Bloods are
making it.
struggling.
Dude, losing to Notre Dame. That was huge. That was huge. All right.
Yeah, we'll move on now.
UNC will probably make it, but will not be that high of a seed. All right, let's talk about the Super Bowl, Ben. 7 minutes through. So just Bucks dominating. Yes, I agree. But I do think it needs to be said. Oh, also, there is like some leaked, I don't know, something like audio clips of the Buccaneers wide receivers being like, Pat Mahomes is just so good. Like, they were just commenting on how bad the wide receivers were and how bad his offensive line were, essentially. Running backs, too. Yeah, they were just like making fun of the Chiefs. So
That's
that got-
weird because the Chiefs have a pretty good core of wide receivers.
but they were dropping balls.
Yes,
Tyreek-
but if you look at that team, I don't think you say the wide receivers are weak in general.
I don't
Tyreek
either.
Hill,
The only player that had a good game on that Chiefs offense was probably Travis Kelce.
but
I
Travis
think Pat
Kelce also
Mahomes
is
didn't.
good.
I don't think Pat Mahomes played terrible. He made throws, and with the pocket time he had, even though he's mobile and he likes to scramble and throw on the run, I mean, he was just beaten down.
I think he played admirably. He was
Yeah,
dealing with
he
a
played
turf toe, like bad. He's having surgery on Wednesday, and he was moving around the pocket. He was sprinting away from like Vita Vea, Nadal
Shaquille Barrett. They were blitzing a lot.
He was
yeah.
giving receivers
Devin White.
chances to catch
He
the
was.
ball.
No, all the credit to Pat Mahomes, but I will say this. I posted this on Twitter. Whoever wins this game will be the GOAT.
Oh, I saw that. post.
Because will they ever meet in the Super Bowl again? Maybe. They could. Hey, Tom Brady's coming back. I thought he might actually retire.
No way.
I mean, you got the Super Bowl on the other team. I
It's
think he's-
Tom Brady.
He's the GOAT undeniably in my mind. But hey, if Pat Mahomes goes on to win 5-6 Super Bowls, which I actually think he will. I think Pat Mahomes is good for another 5 Super Bowls. If he does that, and let's say they don't match up again in the regular season or the postseason or they can't meet up in the postseason other than the Super Bowl, but you get what I'm saying. If they don't see each other again, Pat Mahomes is not the GOAT because Tom Brady beat him.
Okay. I understand the argument, but I will say that it's very different circumstances in how Brady won. Brady had the greatest. I mean, that team effort by the Buccaneers was one of the best team efforts I've ever seen in a game, let alone the Super Bowl. And I wouldn't say that Brady outperformed Mahomes Mahomes was playing extremely well for what he had on that team. He was playing about as well as he could have played. If you give Mahomes a team that Brady had and give Brady Mahomes' team, Mahomes wins every time in my mind.
I agree. No, I agree. But Tom Brady won at the end of the day.
He did.
He got that 7th ring. And you also want to know another fun fact, Ben?
What?
Tom Brady's first ever collegiate loss was to no other than Notre Dame. I sent you that like mid-game.
Was that when he was a backup, or was that when he was actually starting?
His first start.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's
a tough first start to have.
It is. I mean, Notre Dame's probably the greatest college football team of all time. So it's
Alabama fans would beg to differ, but
all time, Ben. Okay. Super MVP, was Brady really the MVP? I think he was. I mean, you give it to the quarterback.
I agree with you.
Devin White and Shaquille Barrett, especially Shaquille Barrett, played phenomenally. I'm not going to lie. Gronk played very well, probably his best game of the season. As you see, who is that that might have been Devin White in the backfield. Look at that. That's one of the plays I'm talking about, drop. But
Mahomes did it all the time. There's so many plays that you could look at and be like, his receivers messed him up or his offensive line wasn't there.
Yeah.
It
hurts only playing with two starting linemen, both your tackles out. Like that's just tough.
Yeah, and I was reading one of the Chiefs starting tackles or backups that was starting that game, Mike Remmers, was a Panthers offensive tackle when the Broncos shredded. I was reading on ESPN. This dude Remmers was the Panthers offensive tackle when the Broncos shredded them, and he was the one getting beat every play by Von Miller. He was the one getting beat yesterday or 2 days ago by Shaq Barrett.
Yeah,
he's had a bad go of it.
That's just funny. Well, Mike Remmers, I'm sorry. How many rings do we see Mahomes getting? We talked about that. I'm just reading down the agenda, guys.
Yeah.
Definite GOAT status, I think so. Even though I went to Michigan, yes, he is the GOAT. And then, yeah.
What would Mahomes have to do to get that GOAT status, you think? Is it even possible?
Win 10 titles. He has to win 10. I mean, 9 more. He has to have both fingers with rings for me to say he's the GOAT. Because Brady is 7.
And
Brady could get 10. Brady, some people think Brady will play 3 more years. Now, to 4-peat is probably the hardest thing you could ever do. And if he does 4-peat, he's the greatest athlete of all time in any sport, regardless.
Undeniably.
Undeniably.
If he wins next year, I would be shocked if they won again next year.
If he wins 2 more, he's better than MJ. If he wins 1, maybe. Just because MJ never lost in the game. MJ never lost in the game.
That's true. It's true. And all of Brady's losses were heartbreakers. So
they were.
He could be 10-0. Imagine if he was 10-0. I've always thought about that. If Tom Brady was 10-0, he's basically God. He's already basically God, but like 10-0.
That's just another level. All right. Well, Ben, I think that does it. Thank you guys for watching. Yes, that's probably Tim or my little brother. So
hey, not bad.
Not bad. Maybe my uncle, he watches our podcast, actually. Shout out Uncle Jim. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Thank you for watching as we end at the beginning of the second half. This was actually a crazy, crazy play. Yeah. We'll talk really quickly about this. That play, I said, wow, Kansas City scores here. They have control of this game.
Yep.
Of course, they didn't. They had a bad pump by Tommy Townsend, ex-Florida Gator kicker or punter. Tampa Bay goes down and scores, and they just grab all the momentum. So, yeah, that was actually a huge play. Tyrann Mathieu was hyped, getting in people's ears, and then look at that, shanked punt.
But people missed on that third Nate. Kelsey dropped the pass. They had the first down. Kelsey dropped it. That's not going to be talked about, but that was a huge drop. And then that play.
Yeah. Oh, so they didn't score? Oh, no. But then I think someone else threw.
No, that was a penalty.
Yes, they was holding on the DV, yes.
The Chiefs had so many penalties on this drive. So many penalties. It was crazy. Every single time they would get a stop, there would be a penalty. So look, let's watch this. See, incomplete. Look at the field goal. I don't know if you remember this, Brad.
Yes, and then they scored the touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, the Chiefs, that's another aspect of the game we didn't talk about. The Chiefs just making dumb plays.
I believe they had 6 penalties for 100-something yards in the first half. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, we got to get out of here. I got homework. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.